Number 1. Goosebumps. Aka Nature's useless sweater. Imagine it's cold, you're shivering, and suddenly, your skin turns into a tiny mountain range. Congratulations, you just activated your inner porcupine. Goosebumps are your body's attempt at fluffing up non-existent fur. Back in the Stone Age, this was great. Early humans were basically the world's angriest, half-naked cats, and raising their hair made them look bigger and feel warmer. But now, unless you're a werewolf with a modeling contract, this just makes you look like a cold, emotional cactus. Even weirder, goosebumps don't just show up when it's cold. They pop up when you're scared, inspired, or listening to a Taylor Swift song at 2 a.m. Why? Because your brain still thinks every intense emotion might involve a wild animal. Basically, your nervous system is like, quick, you're in danger. Puff up and prepare to fight the leopard that's obviously hiding in the microwave. Spoiler, there's no leopard, just your roommate reheating soup. Number 2. Fight or flight or email anxiety. You get an email from your boss, your heart races, your stomach drops, your hands sweat like you're diffusing a bomb. That's fight or flight, the Stone Age's greatest gift to your modern social life. This response was perfect when danger meant angry woolly mammoth. Your brain hits the panic button, floods your system with adrenaline, and reroutes all energy to your limbs so you can sprint or throw a rock with Olympic-level rage. But now, danger means your group chat saw your typo. Your brain doesn't know the difference. It just sees threat. And suddenly you're preparing to battle a saber-toothed tiger because you accidentally said, ducking, on Slack. And since you can't actually run from your inbox, all that fight or flight energy just turns into social anxiety, existential dread, or aggressive dishwashing. Thanks, evolution. Number 3. Craving sugar like it's a blood ritual. Ever wonder why you suddenly need to eat a brownie the size of a brick at 3 p.m.? Or why one cookie turns into the cookie apocalypse? That's not you being weak, that's you being very, very historically accurate. Back in the day, sugar wasn't just a treat, it was survival fuel. Fruit, honey, and anything sweet were rare and full of calories. So your ancestors' brains evolved to scream, eat that thing now, anytime sugar appeared. Fast forward to now, you've got sugar in your cereal, your ketchup, your salad dressing, and probably your toothpaste. But your brain still thinks it's 10,000 BC, and this cookie is the only one left on Earth, so it rewards you with dopamine like you just hunted a wild jelly donut in the forest. You're not snacky, you're prehistoric. Number 4. Morning wood, not what you think. Oh yes, the mysterious morning tent pole. Is it sexy? Is it weird? Is it the ghost of caveman testosterone trying to say hi? Sort of. Here's the science. Morning erections, or clitoral engorgement, ladies, happen because of REM sleep. That part of the night when your brain is dreaming about aliens or arguing with your high school teacher. During REM, your body relaxes everything except the stuff involved in arousal. And since blood pressure rises, well, so does other stuff. But here's where it gets Stone Age. Why? Your body's basically doing a systems check. A good ol', hey, is this thing still working? Before you go hunt mammoths or flirt with cave crushes. In evolutionary terms, reproductive readiness was life or death. If you weren't ready to pass on your DNA, you were basically a walking dead end, so your body sends out morning wood like a proud, over-enthusiastic guy running diagnostics. Status, all systems go. Number 5. Eye floaters, ghosts of evolution. You're staring at a white wall, minding your business, and suddenly, there it is, a squiggly little thing drifting across your vision like it's auditioning for a Pixar short. No, you're not hallucinating, and no, you don't need to swat it. That's just an eye floater, and it's basically leftover junk in your eyeball soup. Here's what's going on. Inside your eye is a jelly-like goo called the vitreous humor. Yes, it sounds like a medieval insult. Over time, little clumps form in that goo. Dead cells, proteins, or bits of collagen just floating around like microscopic tumbleweeds. Your brain normally ignores these bits. But if the lighting's just right, say, a blank wall or a bright sky, you'll see their shadows moving across your retina. And because the floaters are in your eyeballs goo, when you try to look at them, they just drift away. It's the most infuriating game of tag ever. Now here's the Stone Age part. Our ancestors didn't have screens, streetlights, or walls. Most of what they looked at was nature, chaotic, complex, textured. Floaters just blended in. But today, your ultra-flat, ultra-bright environment is like a magnifying glass for this leftover biological mess. So don't worry, you're not dying. You're just looking at your body's own visual garbage floating in caveman jelly. Number 6. Hair, the world's most pointless insulation. If aliens landed and studied humans, they'd ask one big question. Why do these beings have a thick bush on their heads, a few sad strands on their legs, and exactly zero insulation where it matters most. Welcome to the mess that is human body hair. Once upon a time, it was crucial. Body hair helped trap heat, signal sexual maturity, and warn about creepy crawlies. But then we evolved sweat glands and started running around naked, inventing pants and lighting fires. Basically, we said goodbye fur, hello fashion, except not completely. The weirdest part, we kept random patches, eyelashes, still useful, bug deflectors for your eyes. Head hair helps regulate scalp temperature and keep sunburn away. But toe hair, nipple hair, that one rogue strand on your shoulder that makes you feel like a werewolf at a middle school pool party, totally useless. Evolution just hasn't hit delete yet. And yes, pubic hair is still there because friction, sweat, and, well, pheromones. Your Stone Age body wants your crotch to smell like a love potion brewed by a musky bear. Science. Number 7. The startle reflex. Jump first, ask questions later. You're walking to the bathroom at night, and a shadow moves. Before your brain can process anything, your whole body spasms like someone hit the panic button. That's the startle reflex. It's fast, automatic, and completely over the top, because your brain thinks everything is a lion. This reflex kicks in before your rational brain even shows up to work. A sudden noise, a weird shape, or even someone saying, hey, when you're zoned out, and boom, your nervous system launches you into space. Why? Because in ancient times, the guy who paused to think about the rustling bush was the guy who got eaten. Evolution rewarded the overreactors. So now, we all flinch like traumatized squirrels whenever the toast pops up. What's even better, the reflex spreads. One person screams, and suddenly 5 other people are screaming too. It's like a glitchy group update that says, we're all dying, apparently. Let's go. So next time you jump at a balloon popping or someone sneezes behind you, just remember, that's not you being jumpy. That's your caveman brain assuming it's an ambush. Number 8. Yawning. Your brain's cooling fan. You yawn when you're tired. You yawn when you're bored. You yawn when someone else yawns. But have you ever asked yourself why? Turns out, it's not just about sleep. Yawning is your brain's personal AC unit. The act of yawning increases blood flow to your skull and pulls in cool air, which might help regulate brain temperature. Think of it like blowing on a hot laptop, but instead, your brain is like, hang on, I'm overheating, let me just stretch my jaw like a stressed python. In the Stone Age, this might have been your body's way of staying sharp. You're out hunting, and your brain starts getting warm and fuzzy. Boom, giant yawn, instant clarity, even cooler. Yawning is contagious. You see someone yawn, and suddenly you're doing it too. That's empathy. Your social brain thinks, oh, you're tired, me too. Let's be exhausted together. So yeah, next time your teacher thinks you're being rude by yawning in class, just tell them you're thermoregulating, like a mammal should. Number 9. Dry mouth during stress. Because who needs saliva anyway? You're about to speak in public, or confront someone, or just make a mildly scary phone call. Suddenly, your mouth turns into the Sahara. No spit, no moisture, just a sticky tongue flapping uselessly in a dust bowl. Why? Because your Stone Age body thinks you're in mortal danger, not giving a PowerPoint. When you're stressed, your sympathetic nervous system takes over. That's your fight or flight response again, and it reroutes bodily functions to essential systems. You know, like heart rate, blood flow to muscles, and rapid thinking. Things you'd need if, say, you were sprinting from a lion. Meanwhile, digestion and saliva production, those get the boot. Your body's like, shut it all down, he's about to be eaten. Who cares if his tongue sticks to the roof of his mouth? So the reason your voice cracks and your words feel like sandpaper during stress, that's because your ancient ancestors weren't giving TED Talks. They were running for their lives. Number 10. Shivers when you're emotional. Okay, crying with style. You watch a sad movie, the music swells, the dog dies, and suddenly, a chill runs down your spine like your body just remembered winter exists. That's not just sadness, that's an emotional shiver, a full-body mood swing. Scientists aren't entirely sure why this happens, but one theory is that intense emotions, especially awe, fear, grief, or joy, trigger a burst of activity in your autonomic nervous system. Basically, your brain just yells, do something, and your body chooses. Goosebumps and shivers. It's like a weird, physical exclamation point. This might have made more sense in ancient times. Emotional moments, bonding with your tribe, honoring the dead, facing the unknown, were linked to survival. Feeling awe when seeing a storm or grief when someone died, that helped reinforce social connections and rituals. Today, it just means you cry over Pixar movies and get the chills during dramatic violin solos. Your ancestors had tribal ceremonies under the stars, You have Spotify and Disney Plus. Progress. Number 11. Nightmares. Your brain's danger simulator. Ever wake up in a cold sweat after dreaming about being chased, falling, or showing up to school in a towel? That's your brain running a survival training camp while you sleep. Nightmares are more than just your brain trolling you at 2 a.m. They're part of a long evolutionary system designed to rehearse worst-case scenarios. Think of them as fear simulations. What if you fall off a cliff? What if a snake bites you? What if everyone laughs because you forgot pants? In caveman terms, these nightmares help prepare people for danger, running from predators, handling threats, staying alert. If your brain practiced fear scenarios while you slept, you'd react faster when it was real, sort of like emotional muscle memory. Today, the threats are different. No tigers, more emails. But the software hasn't changed, so your brain still likes to rehearse stress, fear, and embarrassment in Ultra HD while you're trying to recharge. Cool, thanks, brain. Number 12. Holding your breath under stress. The panic freeze. You're in a tense moment. You're focused. You're anxious. And without realizing it, you're holding your breath like someone hit pause on your lungs. This is called email apnea. And yes, it's real. People literally stop breathing when reading emails, or texts, or dramatic YouTube comments. But here's the evolutionary logic. When ancient humans sensed danger, freezing and going silent could mean the difference between life and being a chew toy. Holding your breath made you quieter, less noticeable, so in life or death situations, the body sometimes literally just pauses. Today, that response is still kicking. You're not hiding from predators. You're drafting a risky DM, but your body's still like, better not breathe, just in case a panther hears this text. So the next time you're stressing out and feeling lightheaded, check your breathing. You're not dying. You're just running prehistoric software in a Wi-Fi world. Number 13. Stretching when you wake up. Ancient boot-up sequence. You wake up, groggy and confused, and before your brain even remembers what year it is, you do it. The big morning stretch. Arms flail, back arches. Maybe you yawn like a dramatic house cat. But why do we all do this instinctively? Turns out, that full body stretch, officially called pandiculation, yes, it sounds like something illegal in a library, is your body's way of restarting the system. In the Stone Age, this wasn't just about comfort, it was about survival. After a night of lying motionless in a cave, your ancestors needed to quickly regain mobility. Muscles had to reset tension, joints had to check in, blood flow needed to return to all the parts that had been squished like a cave-warmed pancake. That luxurious stretch, it was evolution's version of turning the ignition key. Even animals do it. Dogs, cats, lions. It's basically a biological good morning from your spine. So next time you stretch and groan like an old wooden door, just know you're sensing up with a caveman tradition older than coffee. Number 14. Sneezing like you've been hit with lightning. It's quiet, peaceful, and then you explode like a human air cannon. Why is sneezing so intense? Why does it sound like your body is trying to launch its soul through your nose? Because your sneeze is powered by survival. Sneezing is your body's high-velocity eject button for irritants, dust, pollen, pepper, that one random hair that somehow ended up in your nostril. But in the Stone Age, it had an extra job. Get rid of stuff that could make you sick before it turns into a full-on infection. And the intensity, that's part of the magic. Sneezes can launch air out of your nose at 100 miles per hour. Your body isn't just rejecting invaders, it's evicting them with extreme prejudice. Also, ever wonder why you can't sneeze with your eyes open? Your body automatically shuts your eyes so you don't accidentally eyeball projectile something during the blast. In summary, you are a nasal bazooka, powered by ancient immune panic. Jessent height. Number 15. Hiccups. Evolution's glitchiest feature. Hiccups are one of the body's most useless, annoying, and totally ancient reflexes. A spasm in your diaphragm causes your vocal cords to snap shut, creating that weird little hic noise. And for what? A cheap jump scare and mild public embarrassment. Well, sort of. Here's the ancient twist. Hiccups are likely a leftover reflex from when your ancestors, and I'm talking fish ancestors, had gills. That's right. We're going pre-Stone Age now. Some scientists think hiccups trace back to early amphibians, who used a dual breathing system, lungs and gills. The hiccup mechanism helped them switch between breathing styles. Over time, land animals evolved out of this, but not entirely. Our bodies kept the wiring, even though we've long since abandoned underwater breathing. Hopefully, so hiccups are like that one app on your phone you never use, but can't delete. Also, babies hiccup constantly in the womb, potentially practicing a reflex they'll never really need. Good job, evolution, flawless design. Number 16. Blushing. Emotional thermometer you can't turn off. You said something awkward. Someone cute looked your way. A stranger complimented your outfit. And suddenly, your cheeks light up like a tomato in crisis. Blushing is one of the few bodily reactions controlled entirely by emotion. You can't do it on purpose. You can't stop it once it starts. Your body's just like, oh no. Feelings activate red face mode. So why do we even have this deeply inconvenient feature? Blushing likely evolved as a way to non-verbally signal honesty or embarrassment. In small Stone Age groups, trust was everything. If you messed up or lied, visible shame helped smooth things over. It was like an evolutionary apology sticker slapped across your face. Today, it still works, kind of. Blushing makes you look vulnerable, genuine, or emotionally honest even if you'd really prefer to sink through the floor. So the next time you flush with embarrassment, just remember, that's your ancient guilt display firing up like a neon sign that says, oops, I have feelings.